All right, mateys, you know, with the spring season coming up, a cup of nice hot soup just hits the spot. Well, you don't have to go through all of this with just a little advanced planning. And what I'm talking about is soup in a bag, ready to go. I'm going to show you how I put these together. I experimented with them a little bit last year, handed them out to some of the boat neighbors. Turned out really good. Now what I found out was the fresh vegetables, like the corn on the cob, cut that off, dehydrate that, that reconstituted like it was fresh off the cob. But here in the middle of the winter, let me shut this down. In the middle of the winter, where am I going to get fresh vegetables that aren't going to cost me an arm and a leg? Well, I experimented with a couple of things. I'll show you what I did here. This worked out pretty good. And then we'll cook this soup up and see how that worked out. All right, so what I did for this is I went out, I got a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. I got my Excalibur food dryer. I laid them out on the sheet to see how they would turn out. So I just took a cup. Here you can see. I took a cup of the frozen vegetables, put them in the food dehydrator, frozen, dehydrated them, took about 5 hours, and I wound up with less than a quarter of a cup. So you know, on the boat, it's really hard to keep fresh vegetables, and especially frozen vegetables of any kind. So experimenting with this and seeing how that worked out is fantastic. So in this little bag, I've got the quarter cup of the dehydrated vegetables, a half a cup of noodles, a chicken cube, and I put a little bit of cornstarch in because I want it to thicken a little bit. Now you can add anything you want to this. Now, oh, I've also got some dehydrated onion and green pepper in here. So you're out cruising, just get a pot of water. I take 2 cups of water to this bag. You can add some meat to it, some leftover meat or whatever you have, and you're going to have a fantastic soup. I'll show you. Now, while the soup is cooking, I'll show you what I did for some of the prep. Now, the garlic, to run this through the garlic press and then dehydrate it, it'd just fall right through the mats. So what I do for the garlic is I run it through the garlic press, take a little bit of oil, and that'll stay halfway to forever. Then the onions, you know, I'm going to do a whole bag of onions, and to do those by hand would take halfway to forever. So I've got my handy dandy little slicer here, and I'm going to set it for number 3. Put that in here. And I like to work with the small cutting board and then put a tray to catch everything. Now look at the nice slices I have here, and then I'm just going to take my knife. See, those are just the right size. I'm going to stack this back up. Just cut down one. Now these will be perfect dehydrated for soups or whatever else I'm going to use. I did the same thing with the green pepper. I just kind of sliced that up. Of course, then I've got my noodles. Where did I put my chicken cubes here? Oh, got chicken cubes or beef cubes, whatever soup you're going to make. Dehydrate all of your stuff ahead of time. Got my water to a boil. I'm just going to dump my package in there. Turn it down a little bit. Give it a quick little stir. And we'll have soup in about 10 minutes. Now, because I added cornstarch to this, make sure you stir it a little bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Once you get that first stirring done, you're pretty well good to go. All right, guys, I finished it off. Now, it turned out a little bit more noodly than soup. Go Packers. But the vegetables reconstituted so nice. I mean, it's like they just came out of the freezer bag. You know, what a great way to do this. Good. Now, you know, the key is preparation and space control or space management. Dehydrating these frozen vegetables, great idea. It turned out fantastic. They reconstituted nicely. They're going to stay for a long time on the boat. Makes a great quick meal. Now, you know, and I could have added some meat to this, some leftover chicken or whatever else I had. But wow. Good meal. Anyway, guys, happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends. Bon appetit.